Hi there, and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. Thanks for joining us today. We're really glad you're here.
Today's episode is close to the heart. We're talking about something that a lot of learners don't speak about enough: learning English while caring for others. Whether you're looking after your children, your parents, a partner, or someone else in your life who needs you, you matter too.
Yeah, sometimes when you're the one who's always giving your time and energy to others, your own goals start to feel far away. And language learning, especially English, can start to feel like a luxury, right? Like something you don't have time for anymore.
Exactly. But let's say this clearly: just because you're busy caring for others doesn't mean your dreams need to disappear. You can still learn. You can still grow. And most importantly, you still matter.
Sometimes people say, I only studied 5 minutes today, or I just repeated a few English words in the bathroom. And they feel guilty about that. But honestly, that's powerful. You're fighting for your future in the middle of a busy life.
Caring is heavy work. It's emotional, physical, constant. But inside all of that, there's you. And that version of you who still wants to improve their English, to understand more, to express themselves better. That version of you deserves time and kindness too.
You know, learning English doesn't have to look like quiet study hours or perfect notebooks. Sometimes, it's listening to a short podcast while doing the washing up. Or talking to yourself in the mirror while brushing someone else's hair. Or whispering vocabulary words while cooking dinner.
Right? It can feel invisible sometimes, like your learning isn't real because it doesn't look structured. But those little moments, those quiet efforts, they are real. They are honest. And they count. Every time you choose to stay close to English, even in a small way, you're building something important.
And I think it's worth saying, caring for others can sometimes make you feel like you've lost parts of yourself. Like you've become just the parent, just the nurse, just the helper. But learning English can be one of those small ways to reconnect with your own voice again.
Absolutely. It gives you a space that belongs to you. A word, a sentence, a moment in a new language. It's something fresh that's not about everyone else's needs. It's you reminding yourself, I am still growing. I am still becoming.
And some people might say, but I can't even remember what I learned yesterday, or I'm too tired to speak in full sentences. But we want to say, you're not failing. You're carrying so much already. The fact that you're even trying to learn. That's strength.
Yeah, we tend to praise people for working hard, but we forget to praise those who are quietly holding everything together, and still showing up to a goal like learning English. It takes real heart to do that. Real commitment.
So even if it's just one new word a day, or one tiny grammar point that finally makes sense after weeks of not getting it, you're doing something incredible. You're growing in the middle of real life, not waiting for things to be easy first.
And honestly, that kind of growth sticks. It's not just memorization. It's experience. It becomes part of your identity, because you've earned every bit of it, through late nights, early mornings, and those small stolen moments between everything else.
So if you've been wondering, is this enough? Am I doing okay? We're here to tell you, yes. You're doing beautifully. Keep going, even slowly. You're not behind. You're building something meaningful, even if it's just one brick at a time.
And let's not forget, sometimes the people you're caring for will see you doing this. Your kids might hear you practicing English, or your partner might notice you listening to something in a new accent. That can have a bigger impact than you think.
Yeah, you're setting an example without even realizing it. You're showing the people around you that learning doesn't stop just because life gets complicated. You're proving that growth can happen quietly, during the busiest, most ordinary days.
And I think that's really powerful. Because one day, someone might say to you, I remember when you were learning English while taking care of everyone. That inspired me. You're not just learning, you're becoming someone even stronger.
So if you've been putting yourself last lately, or if you've been telling yourself that your English goal doesn't matter compared to everything else, maybe just pause for a second. And remind yourself, it does matter. You matter.
And you don't need a perfect study routine to prove it. You don't need hours of silence or expensive materials. What you need, you already have. Courage, persistence, and the ability to show up, even when it's hard. That's enough. That's more than enough.
Even when you're learning one word at a time, even when it feels slow, you're still learning. And that counts. So if no one's told you today, you're doing a great job. Keep showing up for your English, in your own way.
And if all you did today was think in English for a few seconds while folding laundry, or repeat one phrase while walking down the hall, that's still something. That's still progress. We often underestimate these quiet moments, because they don't feel like study time.
Yeah, but the truth is, those little repetitions, those mini mental check-ins with the language, they build your fluency just like anything else. It's like drops of water filling a cup. You don't always notice it rising, but one day it's full.
Exactly. And caring for others often means giving up control over your time. You can't always plan a perfect hour of study. But what you can do is slip English into the rhythm of your day, between meals, during quiet moments, or even inside your own thoughts.
That's where language becomes real life. It's not just in classrooms or textbooks. It's in your kitchen, your routines, your reflections. You might be washing dishes and silently describing what you're doing in English. That's not silly, that's smart practice.
And honestly, that kind of practice is often more natural than formal study. Because you're using language the way people actually use it, in real situations, in real time. And that means it sticks. It becomes part of you.
So yeah, even in the middle of caring for someone else, you're allowed to have something for yourself. And if that something is English, if that brings you joy or peace or a sense of progress, hold on to it. Let it be yours.
Let it remind you that you're not just a helper, not just the strong one everyone depends on. You're also someone with a voice, a goal, a future. And every English word you speak, no matter how small, is a step closer to that future.
You know, sometimes people say, oh, I only had 5 minutes today, like it doesn't count. But 5 minutes every day, that adds up. Especially when those 5 minutes are intentional. When you're truly present with the language, even for a short time, your brain notices.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, when you make English a normal part of your daily rhythm, even in those brief snatches of time, it becomes something familiar. Something that doesn't feel like a chore, but more like a companion.
Yeah, and maybe some days you'll only listen. Maybe other days you'll whisper a few phrases while brushing your teeth. Or maybe you'll watch a video while your baby naps. It doesn't need to look the same every day. It just needs to keep happening.
Right? Language learning isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Even gentle, messy consistency. And for people who are balancing care work, housework, emotional labor, the fact that you're still making space for English. That's deeply impressive.
And it makes the language mean more. It's not just vocabulary, it becomes part of your resilience story. Like, I kept learning even when life was heavy. That gives your English soul. That makes it yours in a very real way.
I love that. Because in the end, it's not about being fluent fast or sounding like a native tomorrow. It's about becoming someone who can express themselves, connect with others, and feel proud, especially when it wasn't easy to get there.
And you don't need quiet conditions to get started. You just need the willingness to keep going, even in the noise, even in the chaos, even in the care. That's powerful learning. That's powerful living.
And if no one's said it to you lately, you're doing incredibly well. You're juggling a lot, and still, here you are, showing up for your English journey. That means something. That matters.
Yeah, give yourself credit. You're not behind, you're not too late, you're on your way. Bit by bit, in your own rhythm. Keep speaking, keep listening, keep showing up, even when it's messy. Because this journey is yours, and you're making it count.
Thanks for spending this time with us today. We hope this episode reminded you that you're not alone, and that your progress, however it looks, is real.
You've been listening to the British Accent Podcast. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you again soon.